doing a thing. We doing a thing. I'm always like super nervous if people can hear me or not. I really shouldn't be at this point. It's like everything's all set up. Hey, what is good, Adam? Although I'm not green right now. I mean, it's kind of green. This X-Men shirt's kind of green a little bit. But, I mean, you know. What's up? Now I feel like the green one. Now I'm actually the green one right now. This is not me catfishing you now. What's up, man? How you doing? Read anything cool this week? Hey, what's good, Josiah? It goes very well. It goes very, very well. How about you? Et toi? Parlez-vous français? Because I don't. I took French for like I took French for like a semester in high school, not high school, in middle school, and I failed it. So I switched to Chinese after that. I used to be able to speak Chinese. Now I can only read it partially, kind of. Don't test me on that though. Hey, what is good, Arcus? What's up? What's up? Hey. I read my tax returns, which is the equivalent of reading 3 trade paperbacks. Oh, God. I'm in the process of doing my taxes. That is not fun. See, you're smart. You do your own taxes, and that's like not money out the ass for you. I am paying people to do my taxes, and I'm pretty sure I just paid what I'm gonna get in a return. So played myself there. But those are problems for like later me to deal with. I just realized if you will be the hero, mystical green beanie, then your own evil counterpart should be the scientific purple hoodie. Don't give me ideas. You don't know if I'm schizophrenic. You don't know if I might start an evil counterpart channel. Rage bait myself like I'm freaking Arnold Wesker. I also just finished that episode of The Batman, like the Scarface episode, because I'm going back and rewatching The Batman. Oh my god, that show's so much fun. Not nearly as good as Batman the Animated Series from like a storytelling front, but like still it's really good in its own right, and I really like that universe's take on Bruce Wayne. I like the way they write Bruce Wayne as a character. He feels more like a person. He feels very Bronze Age. I'm with it. I like that version of Batman a lot. Did anyone pick up the Unstoppable Doom Patrol? Motherfucker, you bet I did. Wait, hold on a second. I can do that better. Motherfucker, you bet I did. The window part got like a little scuffed up, but you bet I did. Really good, by the way. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just like do this right now. I'm gonna get like a. I go into my pants. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, it's a penny. Look at that. These things are useful after all. Okay. So apparently, these Crazy Jane variant covers, when you scratch off the window part, not window part, the mirror part, you get a different Jane. So let's see which one I get. I'm gonna move my drink up here so I don't end up poisoning myself, because I will do that, because I sometimes occasionally am a raging dumbass. So boom, this is before. Let's see what I get. It's red. Wonder if I should be wearing like a mask while doing this. Alright. Fucking... I feel like I'm becoming a perfectionist with trying to like scratch this shit off. Oh hey, I got Chainsaw Nun. Kind of spoiled it for myself because I can see the freaking title up there, but yeah, I got Chainsaw Nun. That's cool. Is this Chris Burnham? Yeah, this is Chris Burnham. Chris Burnham has like a really cool art style. It's kind of like a I used to call it Frank Quietly Light, because I'm a dumbass. But yeah, no, it is very Frank Quietly inspired. That's part of the reason why I really like Chris Burnham's art, to be honest. Because Frank Quietly is one of my favorite artists, and we'll talk about Frank Quietly in a bit. If you checked out The Ambassadors, which also came out this week, and I'm super excited. But all right, I don't actually have to scratch this whole thing off. I mean, I got the gist of who this is, but yeah, I got the Chainsaw Nun one. That's dope. And yeah. Outside of that, though, this was just a really fun issue. I love seeing the Doom Patrol go to Gotham City. Granted, this is like modern DC Comics, so like all the unsellables go to Gotham City and deal with Batman crap. That's just the way you promote the book. That's how you get people to read things. But yeah, this is a really fun issue. I thought it was pretty fun to see. Oh fuck! God damn it! Go back, Paige. Go back. I thought it was really fun to see the Brain using a body that looked like Mala. That was pretty fun. Yeah, Chris Burnham's art's fantastic in this. I don't know who Beast Girl is. Like, is this a new character? Again, I never read the finale of Gerard Way's run on the Doom Patrol, so I'm not sure if Beast Girl was introduced in that. I also am not following the whole Lazarus Planet thing at all. I'm not really following any of the big DC events, so I'm not sure if Beast Girl shows up in anything else. Although it says here that like they're introducing Beast Girl, so this might be her first issue appearance. I don't know, but yeah, this is a really fun book. I liked it a lot. Batman kind of doesn't have to be here, but again, he's just here because you got to sell the book, I guess. But yeah, I thought this was really fun. I thought it was also pretty funny how the they're not AIM guys, but they're basically AIM guys. These guys right here, in like the blue like suits. They like kind of freak out, and they're like, no, you gotta talk to our lawyer, blah blah blah. Yeah, no, but this is just really fun. I enjoyed it. It's weird, and it's a fun Doom Patrol comic. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm not too familiar with this writer. Yeah, Dennis Culver. No, I don't. I think we talked about this in like one of the previous live streams, though. I don't know who Dennis Culver is, but I do know Chris Burnham, and I picked this up largely because I like Chris Burnham. So, yeah, man. If you're into the Doom Patrol, I'd say give it a shot. But yeah, this was cool. Adam says I finished the Rogues comic that came out recently, catching up with Daredevil. Do you know how Daredevil comics go? Same premise, then rinse, wash, repeat. It'd be like that, unfortunately. Although I will say, I think that everything from Bendis onward has been a fascinating slow motion car crash of everyone just watching Matt Murdock experience a nervous breakdown over the course of 20 years. I do like that. So there is something interesting there. Even when like Matt's having a good time, I would consider the bulk of the Mark Waid run. Granted, I haven't read the entirety of Mark Waid's run, but like of what I've read, and given what comes after it, it feels like a manic period in Matt's ongoing psychological breakdown. So yeah, no, I'm really liking the state of modern Daredevil. I think it reads very well. I think Daredevil is one of those characters, like one of those rare characters in Marvel and DC, who you can kind of start with like the beginning and just keep going. Like there's no real reboots. There's no real like, major retcons. I mean, there's a major retcon that Chip Zdarsky did recently, and he made where he made Mike Murdock like a real character. But outside of that, the whole thing reads like a traditional soap opera. It all just kind of, it just flows. It's a lot like The Flash, or from Barry Allen, or I guess Showcase 4, is Showcase 6? It's one of the Showcase issues. But like the first appearance of Barry Allen, kind of up to now, although there's some weird stuff from Flash Rebirth to now, which I consider like the modern era of the Flash, that kind of fucks everything up. But if you read everything from that Showcase 4 or 5, or whatever the fuck, where Barry Allen makes his first appearance, up to, I believe it's Mark Waid's second run on the Flash. Yeah, everything reads like pretty smoothly. Like it works. So yeah, Daredevil and the Flash are like the only two characters I can think of where like you can read them like that. It's weird that they're both red. Coincidence? Probably. Arcus says the Batman and Batman the Animated Series were different types of shows. One is about style, the other is about atmosphere. That's true. Also, one of them is very clearly post the 90s animated series action figure tie-in boom, and was trying to capitalize on that. I love the Batman, but like that show is sometimes going out of its way to be toyetic. I mean, I still love it, but yeah. Adam says destroys his life, lives his own head rent free, identity crisis, and then gets everything back. But then he can't keep it because Matt doesn't know how to not self sabotage. Hey, what's up, Supreme? How you doing, man? Been reading Howard Chaykin's American Flag. It's one of the most important independent comics of the 80s. It was a huge influence on The Dark Knight Returns. I have American Flag around here somewhere. I just have not read it. That was one of the comics that was gifted to me, but I didn't know that was one of the books that was like an influence on The Dark Knight Returns. That's interesting. Something that I found out recently is that The Dark Knight Returns was also inspired by Amazing Spider-Man issue 50. Which, as soon as you make that connection, it's kind of obvious and annoying that you didn't see it first. But, yeah, no, I really like that whole idea of the media being a character within the story for superhero narratives. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, Beast Girl is new. Okay, cool. So I'm not losing my mind. More so than I already was. Adam says, I loved Mark Waid's run where it has a Silver Age vibe, but not always morbidly depressing. Oh, for Daredevil? Yeah. I thought you were talking about the Flash for a second, and I was very confused because Mark Waid's Flash gets very dark sometimes. But yeah, no, definitely the Daredevil book. It's very swashbuckling. I think that was like a term that was used for it at the time. It was a swashbuckling adventure. Daredevil's going back to the swashbuckler that he used to be in the 60s. Arcus says, do you think that Hank Pym will ever come back as Ant-Man and as a heroic character, or is he ruined forever? Well, brings me to the second book that I got this week, which is Rage of Ultron. So, before reading this, because this is the first time I've read this, I mean, I've already kind of, I knew it was going to happen because I knew what happens in this story, but I never had a chance to read it for myself because graphic novels are expensive, especially Marvel graphic novels. Marvel charges out the ass for graphic novels and trades. It's just frustrating to no end, but that's just what they do, and they've always done that as far as as long as I've been alive and reading comic books. But before reading Rage of Ultron, I would have said, yeah, Marvel should just go ahead and bring back Hank Pym as a heroic character, which I mean he kind of was for a long time, but I don't know. Him coming back as Ant-Man, I don't know. He's in that Ant-Man miniseries that Al Ewing is doing, or I guess did. It's like 4 issues. It was really fun, but yeah, I think that's the last time we're really gonna see Hank as Ant-Man. I think if he goes back to being a hero, it's gonna be as Giant Man or Yellow Jacket if someone's really daring. But yeah, no, I don't. Here's the thing: I don't really want to see Hank come back as like a hero. I don't want Hank to come back. I think this is the perfect ending for that character. Because we always kind of talk about characters getting ideal endings. I think a problem that superhero comics definitely have is this reliance on the status quo and always needing to go back to simpler times or more profitable times. It's the problem that I have with the bulk of the Bat family. It's why I think the Bat family is as fucked up as they are, quite frankly. Like, why do you need multiple Robins? Why does Tim Drake need to still be Robin? Why did Dick Grayson have to go back to being Nightwing? Like, just just going back to status quo, I think is no, don't do that. But in this case in particular, I think this is such a finale to not just Hank Pym as a character, but also Ultron. And I think splitting them apart and having Ultron go back to being like the fucking robotic master of puppets, and having Hank go back to being like the, ooh, look at me, I'm the science guy. You do a real disservice to this character, and or you do a real disservice to this book and where these characters kind of get to at the end of the story. So yeah, no, I don't know if we're ever gonna see Hank go back to being Ant-Man. I don't really want to see Hank go back to being a hero. I like the idea of him being fused with his child in like a weird kind of way. Like the reflection of his ideal self, or his self as he idealized himself. Like I think that's so fascinating. Yeah, I don't want that to get undone. Being in the case of the Batman, being more toyetic was a plus. It was a big part of its style and identity. Oh yeah, 100%. I agree with you on that. I think the Batman is vastly underrated. I think it's really fun. I love their Gotham City. I love how it looks like what's that city in Italy? Venice. I love how it looks like Venice in New York had a baby. It's really beautiful and disturbing. I think it's great. That show is a wonderful style. I also love their color palette. I love how the sky is green. It's very JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in a way. Like it's very not a Tomo. That's fucking that's Akira. Not Horikoshi either. Fuck. What's the guy who created JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Yeah. Araki. It's very Araki inspired. His art's fantastic, by the way, too. God, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is like one of the most beautiful manga I've ever read. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna blow my face out of my nose. All right, now we're back. Alan Moore and Frank Miller were the children who grew up in the '60s Marvel. Yeah, to a point they defend Kirby in his legal fight to get his original artwork back. Dude, I was just talking about that earlier. That all that bullshit regarding all those Silver Age guys, especially at Marvel. It's really depressing. But I mean, that's also just like the way of like the industry. Oh, did I not mute the mic? Oh God, wait, I thought I muted the mic. No. Oh God, I'm like so embarrassed. Holy shit. Well, that's bad. Fuck. Oof. Well, that's cringe. I'm sorry. Oh, fuck you. This fucking trying to make me cringe at myself in the internet. I do that enough already. uh, uh, Adam says, not surprising. Spider-Man inspired a bunch of forms of storytelling that many writers followed. Nova, Tim Drake, Kyle Rayner, Static. It's hard to believe that after the steaming pile of incoherence after one more day. That's pain. But true though. I think Spider-Man's also one of those characters who just got too big. Because that happens too, right? Like characters get too big and then the mission statement is no longer how do we tell stories with this character. It's how do we maintain this intellectual property, you know. That's the problem that Spider-Man has right now. It's the reason why we're probably not going to be getting Spider-Man comics that are like good in the foreseeable future. As much as that sucks, it just kind of is what it is. When Hank Pym looks like Michael Douglas in the comics, it's over. Hey man, well Kevin Feige is in charge of everything now, like the comics and the movies, so that's coming. You know it's coming. He's gonna be like, why does Hank Pym look like Ultron right now? No, put him back, and he's gonna get slapped with like a anti-robot nanotech beam, and he's gonna be separated into like a human body, but the body's gonna be like horribly aged because of being inside of his son for too long, and then he's gonna look like Michael Douglas. That's what's gonna happen. That is exactly how it's gonna happen. So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. Yeah, dude, I miss Rick Remender's era at Marvel too. I know I kind of call myself like an X-Men like poser, but I really did like Rick Remender's run on X-Force. X-Force or X-Factor? I thought, yeah, it was X-Force, because that's Sex and Violence, right? Yeah. Yeah, dude. Really good stuff. Also, I really like Rick Remender's run on Uncanny Avengers, which was the blending of the Avengers and the X-Men teams. That was a great book, I thought. Wasted on some really weird, whack-ass storytelling sometimes, though. But I don't blame that on Remender. I blame that on Marvel editorial wanting to do like an event every 5 minutes, because that's just what we do now. But yeah, Rick Remender's an amazing writer. I generally love Rick Remender. I was gonna say I love him, like he's like one of my favorites, but he's hit or miss for me. He has way more hits than he has misses, but the misses just kind of do not do it for me at all. Like there are comics that he's written that like people swear by, and I'm just like, I don't get it. Like people love Black Science, and I'm just, I don't get it. But I love Deadly Class. Like I love Deadly Class. So it just kind of, it depends on what it is, I guess. You know, I also love Tokyo Ghosts. Oh, Sex and Violence was Kyle Yost. Oh man. Was that with Lionel Francis Yu as well? I get that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Oh, you're right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think he did Uncanny X. Yeah. I think they changed it by. Okay, yep, yep. You're right. My bad. How dare I? Um, but that whole era of the X Men is very confusing for me. I get. I read all of it, so things just kind of blend together for me. But yeah. Um, I generally like that whole era of the X books. Um, or maybe I'm just saying that because I read them as a kid. Who knows? Arca says, I don't know. Don't. Oh, you. Oh, you don't like the art style after a Diamond is Unbreakable? Oh man. That's when I think the style. That's when I think Araki finds his style. I mean, it changes like pretty regularly, um, from like parts 1 to part 4. But yeah, I think when you get to like, yeah, I think when you get to part 4, that's when like that's when he finds it. Really? No, no, no. I take that back. I think part 5 is when he finds his style. Because that's what like you get like Giorno, and then you get Jolene after that, and then there's Steel Ball Run, and now we have part 8. Yeah, I mean I like it, but I get it. I can get not liking the current Araki style, even if you're a heretic, it's fine. I can overlook that flaw in humanity. Uh, Supreme says on ideal endings, Spectacular Spider-Man 200 can be seen as a good final issue for Spider-Man. That silent page where Peter's holding Harry's hand in their final moments is perfect. Oh man, oh man. Don't get me started on Spider-Man. Don't get me started on Spider-Man. You know what I think is like the perfect ending for Spider-Man? Um, it is Amazing Spider-Man issue 500. I think that is the perfect ending for that character. You you, you don't have to read Spider-Man after that, as far as I'm concerned. You really don't. Maybe even a little before that too. What was the issue where there's a kid with a gun who's running around New York, and then Peter finds him, and then like he just tells his dad, and then like the dad and the son like reconnect in the street. That's a pretty good final issue for Spider-Man. You don't really need anything else after that. Spare the world all that Spider Island and Spider-Verse crap. But yeah, I don't know. I think Spider-Man's had a couple good finales. Supreme says, on credits, does Bob Kane deserve any credit for Batman? We all know that Bill Finger and Jared Robinson deserve better. Well, they deserve credit because they actually created Batman. Like, Bob Kane created the name, sure, but everything that anyone associates with the character of Batman came from other people. Not just Jerry Robinson and Bill Finger. There were also hundreds of ghost artists and ghost writers who we don't know who they are. They've gone uncredited. it's like, okay, when you think of Batman, what do you think of? You think of like what, the Joker, you think of Robin, you think of the Batmobile, the Batcave, Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, Bruce Wayne as his identity, Gotham City. Like, these are all things that everyone else who worked on that character came up with. Bob Kane, he drew a guy in a red suit with giant, like, bat wings and said, "This is Batman." That's all Bob Kane did. All the other heavy lifting came from other creators. So it really sucks that, like, those people are, like, probably just dead in paupers' graves, like Bill Finger is, but it is what it is, I guess. Arcus says, since Lois Lane is chief editor, they should do a promotion joke. Lois summons Clark to her office, locks up the door, and asks, "Now tell me, Mr. Kent, how are you willing to go for that raise?" How far are you willing to go with that raise? I mean, as long as Lois doesn't have, like, an intercom turned on, I think that should be fine. Also, you know for a fact they do that. Like, you just know. You know. Those two are, like... It's kind of crazy. Lois Lane and Clark Kent are probably, like, the second horniest couple in comics, next to Peter Parker and Mary Jane from, like, the 90s. Yeah. God, they're disgusting. It's great. That's, like, one of my favorite comic book couples. Oh, they're so fantastic. I'm so glad they're back together. Araki says, oh, wait, hold on. Do you like Nick Spencer's Spider-Man? I like the beginning of Nick Spencer's Spider-Man. I think the problem that Nick Spencer had is that the run just kind of... It defaulted to that problem that Spider-Man comics have had for the past 30 years, where it felt the need to go back and fix everything. And that's the ultimate problem with Spider-Man comics. Like, just... We gotta go back and fix it. No, you don't. You don't have to go back and fix it. You just take the shit that you are stuck with. Take the shit you're stuck with and sculpt something out of it. Sculpt something beautiful. Get that corn between your fingernails. Get all those, like, little fibers. Get them all in there. Make something pretty. Make a like a shit man. Make a vase or something. I don't know, but just do something with what you have here. Don't try to, like, cook it and turn it into, like, weird crystal meth. All you do is just you end up inhaling the fumes, and then you shit yourself, and then put that in the meth, and then you break it, and then you hand that off to the next creator, and then they have to try to fix your shitty crystal meth concoction. Maybe that's a poor like analogy, but, like, I don't know, just stop trying to fix Spider-Man. Stop trying. Writers and editors, for that matter. You know the best way to fix a character? Just pick up the pieces as they are and just go with it. That's what I think works really well with Philip Kennedy Johnson's run on Superman right now, or I guess Action Comics right now. Bendis came in, did what he was gonna do. Actually, hold on. Before Bendis, no one really likes to talk about how Peter Tomasi kind of royally fucked the Superman continuity wheel with Rebirth, but he did. He really did. There's, like, that whole Rebirth run, it's fun, but like it doesn't make sense with Superman continuity. It kind of breaks continuity, but this also might be like heresy, but it's also not nearly as good when you go back and reread some of that stuff. Um, it's almost like everyone praised it because it wasn't New 52 Superman, but when you go back, it's kind of just mid Superman. It's fun, but it's again, it's all right. Still better than what Bendis did with the character, but like still just between Tomasi doing what Tomasi did, between Bendis doing what Bendis did, Philip Kennedy Johnson just comes on board and says, "All right, so this is what we have. All right, let's just pick up and keep going. These are the pieces. Let's go. Let's go." And he built something really interesting and fresh out of that. So that's all you really have to do. You don't have to like bend over backwards to try to fix these characters. No, if they're broken, then just I don't know. That's just me though. Araki maybe finds the style, but I'm not a fan of his androgynous looking men. Liked more when they were manly. Stardust Crusaders is peak. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's like the Fist of the North Star idea. Yeah. Omae wa mo shinderu. Supreme says, this may sound harsh, but Stan Lee was in a better position than Kirby and Ditko. His uncle-in-law was the publisher of Marvel at the time. Sorry, that sounds depressing. I mean, probably sounds depressing, but it's true. Just is what it is. We can't overlook Dan Jurgens' short Superman run either. Oh, from Action Comics with under Rebirth. I thought it was really fun. It started off very much Dan Jurgens playing his greatest hits with. Do you guys remember Doomsday? Like, yeah. Yes, Dan. We also remember Death of Superman. That is a thing that you did. I love Dan Jurgens. I've met Dan Jurgens a couple times. He's a fantastic guy. But as a writer, he definitely, whenever he does anything with Superman, always goes back to. Do you guys remember Doomsday? It's like, yes, we remember Doomsday, Dan. Yes. You don't have to remind us about this character. Granted, Doomsday is just his baby. It's like, that's like getting mad at Jim Starlin for writing a Marvel comic and involving Thanos to some degree. Like, yeah, that's just gonna happen. You can't expect him to do anything and not include Thanos. So, like, why would I read a DC comic by Dan Jurgens and not expect Doomsday to show up? So, yeah. Too bad not many know how great Clark and Lois are. Most people are shocked at the thought that Superman can be sexy. Like, everything is cool with Batman stuff, while Superman should only be hope and hope. Well, yeah, but that's also just how people talk about Superman in pop culture. And, like, not just, like, in the movies and TV shows, but, like, that's how people in, like, editing positions talk about the character. That's how people who are always trying to pitch the character talk about Superman. They don't really talk about him as a character. They talk about him as, like, an icon, a beacon, blah, blah, blah. It's Alex Ross, and he's doing the, I'm Superman. Like, that's how Superman's sold to the general public. So when you get to, like, the nitty-gritty behind, you know, Clark Kent as a character and Clark and Lois's relationship, you're not really going to get all that really fun interpersonal relationship stuff. but it just is what it is. I'm not mad about it. Arcus says, looking at how many times Doomsday got adapted to media, more times than any other character outside of Lex and Zod, I could forget about Doomsday. I wish I could forget about Doomsday. Yeah, yeah. Doomsday's really popular though. It's just, yeah, is what it is. I'm so mixed on Peter Tomasi. People liked his New 52 Batman and Robin with how he developed Damian. However, he was also one of the people responsible for the Evil Cast arc when he was an editor. That was Tomasi? Ah, fuck. Well, even the best of us make mistakes sometimes. But is what it is. Moving on though. Speaking of Spider-Man, because we're talking about Spider-Man a lot. I don't really see anyone talking nearly as much about this book as I think they should. Spider-Man Lost Hunt is everything that people who like Spider-Man comics want Spider-Man comics to be. This is a story about, okay, weird, and rude, but yeah, this is a story about Peter kind of growing past his need for Spider-Man. And it's all about like Peter and MJ's relationship and how they're both kind of growing past what they kind of thought they would be when they were younger, and kind of moving into this like more adult space of, well, this is what we are and this is what we're gonna, this is like what we're gonna grow into together. Like, I don't know, I love this a lot. This is peak Spider-Man right now. This is the best Spider-Man comic to come out in the past, like, I don't know, when did Back to Basics come out? Like 2018? Yeah, this is the best Spider-Man comic to come out since 2018. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. J.M.D. Mateus should just write the main Spider-Man book. I mean, that's what I want in my heart, but like, we're never gonna get that. Also, Eater Macias is a fantastic artist. I also love how he draws Peter like classic comic book Peter. Like, he's one of the few people that remembers that Peter has like that Twilight style hair, but before Twilight was a thing, and like the bushy eyebrows. So basically, he looks like Andrew Garfield. But I mean, Andrew Garfield also just looks like an off the page Peter Parker, so it just kind of works. But yeah, no, I absolutely love this comic. JMD Mateus has teased on Twitter that there is some more, possibly, maybe, hopefully, coming down the pipeline. I would be elated to see more in this universe. So yeah, no, I'm digging it. I dig this series a lot. I do hope this isn't a Superman Rebirth situation though, where this maybe isn't that good, and I'm just hyping it up because I don't like current Spider-Man comics. But I don't know. I generally like J.M. DeMatteis. Again, that's another situation where hit or miss, but generally speaking, he has far more hits than he has misses for me. So yeah, no, I'm really excited to see what J.D. Mateus does with that universe moving forward, because it feels nice being able to read Spider-Man comics again and just enjoy myself and not go like, hey, this isn't my Spider-Man. Hey, you broke Spider-Man, you don't get it. Beanie, since you're an ex-Star Wars fan, what's your opinion on the prequels? really great world building, really crap storytelling. People have been psyoped into thinking those movies are great, and they're not. I like them. I enjoy them, but that's also because I grew up with them, and I remember seeing them in the theater with my mom and dad. But I'm no, no. Those movies aren't great. Uh, but the stories that were being told around them are great. Like I think all the Star Wars comics that are coming out around that time period by Dark Horse, fantastic. Um, I think a lot of the Star Wars video games that came out around that era, and a lot of the Star Wars lore from books that those movies are very clearly paying attention to, are great. And also the prequel era just kind of gave way to a whole era in Star Wars storytelling that I'm a big fan of, that I grew up with. I love the Old Republic era. I think it's fantastic. It's my favorite era in Star Wars. And, well, no. It's not my favorite era in Star Wars. Take that back. Legacy of the Force is my favorite era in Star Wars. Like the far, far future of the Legacy timeline. I love that stuff immensely. I grew up with it. It's fantastic. But, yeah, no, I like the prequels. I appreciate them, but I don't think they're good movies. And no amount of, like, crapping on the sequels is gonna make me say that the prequels are good. So I don't know. That's my hot take, I guess. If that is a hot take, I'm not sure. Also on Tomasi, he prevented Morrison and Brian Q. Miller from using cast in the Reborn Incorporated era. Oh, that sucks. Really? That's lame. Why? Is that why Cassandra? Well, is that why Cassandra's not really in a lot of those books? Because she eventually shows up in Gates of Gotham, right? Does she show up in? Wait, does she show up in Gates of Gotham? I don't know. I'm kind of confused now. I remember she shows up somewhere and she's the Black Bat. And there's like a weird legal situation surrounding that because Black Bat is, or I guess should be, a public domain character, but like I guess isn't. I don't know. But damn. If true, that sucks. I don't know. Tomasi has that some weird ideas in that case. Arcus says, what I don't like about reprints of old comics is recoloring. Original coloring usually looks a lot better, while the reprints are flat. Yeah, that's true. That is a big problem that I have with the reprints of Miracle Man. I'm not sure if you guys have read Miracle Man. I got the omnibus. Well, I didn't get it. I ordered it from my local comic shop, but I haven't bought it yet because it's $100 omnibus, and I have bills to pay. So I'm saving up money to get it. But yeah, no, Miracle Man looks fantastic in the original artwork by Alan Davis and who's the other artist who worked on Miracle Man with Alan Moore? Is it Gary Leach? No, I don't think so. It's not Mark Buckingham because he does the Neil Gaiman series. And there's just no credits on here. Fucking ace. Good job, guys. Good job. Yeah, it is Gary Leach. So I mean, the original art by them is fantastic. Uh, I'm not sure if they do their own coloring or not. But it looks great when you look at like some of the original scans. But when you look at some of the modern reprints that Marvel's done in the past couple years, it just doesn't look good. It it just doesn't look good. It's not bad. It just you know uh, it just like you said, it looks flat. Uh, but I'd rather have flat artwork than like just nothing at all. Like it like it becomes a like a situation of like the Star Wars the remastered editions or whatever the fuck they're called. Uh, I'd rather have those remastered editions than no Star Wars at all. Like like you feel me? Like yeah. Um, Supreme says George Lucas is great at coming up with plot ideas and world building. Character development and dealing with actors is not his forte. Do you agree? I think this goes beyond me agreeing. There is an interview with Mark Hamill where Mark Hamill talked about how on the set of the first Star Wars movie, Lucas wouldn't really give directions. He'd just say, "Oh, okay, okay. Hey, when you do that scene, we're gonna do another take. Just do it better. No direction. No, hey, do this, or hey, make this face, or feel this. It's just do it better." Like, like I don't know. There's even like other stuff that I think can work in that universe that he just doesn't communicate effectively, like the Jedi being stoic. Like I really like on a concept level how all the Jedi in the prequels are just these like and the treaty and the blah 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 and the Gungan ball sack does the thing when it expands the force cannot penetrate the mind and blah 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 blah. It I get what Lucas is going for. I get that like the Jedi are so imbued with like this higher understanding because of this power, this like intangible thing that flows through them, and they have to like maintain this like emotional homeostasis, but the way in which that's depicted on film doesn't quite work. But I don't know. I think George Lucas is an amazing world building guy. I think he's amazing with ideas. But yeah, he is one of those creators that just needs like a little more help in terms of like storytelling. Um, if the prequels aren't good movies, are you willing to admit that Snyder's DC movies aren't good either? Fight me. Fight me. And I'll still say no, but yeah, fight me. Um, yeah, I think Snyder's movies have problems, and I get where people have problems with Zack Snyder, but like, I don't think they're bad. Like I don't know. I wouldn't say they're bad. Um, like bad superhero movies are like what do I consider a bad superhero movie? Okay. Um, The Amazing Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man 2, right? Those movies are bad, and I love those movies, but like those movies are kind of bad. The second one more than the first one. I actually think the first one is on par with the first two Raimi movies. Actually, no, not on par. I think it's actually better than the first two Raimi movies in that characters actually make sense scene to scene, and there's kind of character coherency in those movies, but the second, like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a bad movie that I enjoy, but it is like artistically indefensible. Like it makes no sense whatsoever. I just enjoy it because it's the last time Spider-Man ever felt like Spider-Man to me in anything that Marvel has put out or like is associated with Marvel. Um, but I still like it. Man of Steel, I think, is a sound movie. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, like the Ultimate Edition, I think has problems, but I don't think it is a bad movie. Um, like I don't know, yeah, no, wrong. Insert uh Kevin Kevin Spacey screaming no, wrong. um Supreme says, in contrast to Jason's resurrection, were you more okay with Steph's resurrection, with the retcon where Leslie faked her death? Yes, because unlike Jason's death, Stephanie's death sucked. Like, it sucked. So I was okay with them bringing her back. Like, and maybe that's where I'm a hypocrite, because I have that whole thing where I was like, don't try to fix characters, just pick up where you leave off. But like, okay, if you can finagle things and like maybe fix something, like actually fix something, go ahead and fix it. Stephanie's death was one of those things that was just, this is bad. This is really bad. It makes Batman look really bad. It's really bad for like Stephanie and like that whole era of Stephanie being Robin could have worked, but like it's all tied up in that weird shit where Bruce is like using her as like a chess piece to get Tim to feel jealous. Like, haha, I'm cucking you with your job. Like I don't fucking know. But yeah, no. Bringing Stephanie back and going like, hey, let's not. Remember how Batman was like an asshole for like a year? That was weird. Anyway, Stephanie's alive and she's gonna be over here and we're gonna fix her character. I'm fine with that. I was fine with that, really. I mean they kind of fixed her with the whole thing where they made her Batgirl, but that was at the expense of Cassandra. But that whole like Cassandra being the leader of that, almost a leader of the hand, leader of the League of Assassins was kind of poo poo caca, but I don't know. Arca says, idea. All right, shoot. Let's see. Evil Dead 1 and 2, but it's about Mixie Spitlick as a mysterious ancient force that tries to drive Superman insane, make it a black comedy, gore horror, and push the characters to the absurd limit. I'm with that. I am with that 1,000,000%. Bruce Campbell would have made an amazing Superman in another life. In another universe, he's a great Superman. Give me 1 second. there we go. Sorry, I had to do cocaine. But, like, the reverse, where I push stuff out of my face. I had to make that clarification so YouTube doesn't Sasha Grey my channel. To me, Mxyzptlk has a lot of potential to be a serious and horrifying villain on his concept alone, but it's wasted. Give Superman a challenge. There was a time where Mxyzptlk was kind of like the big bad of Superman. Not the big bad, but he was seen as like a major threat. Granted, this is also the time period before DC just felt like defaulting to Lex Luthor or General Zod as a Superman villain. Even like outside of the movies, like just in the comics when General Zod and Lex Luthor just kind of took over. But yeah, there was like a real period of time where like Mxyzptlk was the other Superman villain that showed up a lot. I miss when he showed up a lot. He's a fun villain. He's a really interesting foil for Batman. Not Batman, Superman. Sorry, I started thinking about Emperor Joker, which is great, by the way, if you've never read it. But yeah, if you do like Mxyzptlk though, I think you're really going to enjoy that Superman cartoon that's coming out on Adult Swim. I'm kind of excited, but I'm also kind of nervous, mainly because it's on Adult Swim, and that's where a lot of like cartoons go to die that Warner Brothers doesn't have faith in. But I don't know. It could be cool. I think it'll have the same. I think it'll get the same sort of fan base that Voltron garnered, like the DreamWorks Voltron series. It looks like they're going for that same kind of vibe. The animation style looks very similar. The character designs look like they're right at home in that world. Even though everyone makes fun of Lois Lane looking like Luz from Owl House, like everyone really looks like they come out of the Voltron series from DreamWorks. Even like the Mxyzptlk character design that got leaked looks like a Voltron character, which I'm down. I am 100% down to see that. I like the Voltron show. I thought it was really fun, and I'm excited to see what another Superman cartoon could look like, because this is the first one that we've gotten since Legion of Superheroes. And it's going on 20 years since that show's been on the air. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long while since we've had a proper Superman series. So yeah, I'm excited to see that show. I can't wait to see it. How do you get cocaine out of your nose? I don't know. You get a bear to rip it out of your face. Ask Elizabeth Banks. she'll have all the answers. Batman Caped Crusader renewed for a second season. My Adventures with Superman is on Adult Swim. Yeah. Yeah, there's also a thing where I really think My Adventures of Superman would stand a better chance if it was like immediately on HBO Max or something. But in contrast to Tim fans with Damian, which was pure hatred, Cass fans are more mixed with Steph Batgirl series. The consensus was that Steph is the fun Batgirl, while Cass wasn't sidelined. Well, they're wrong. I mean, they're allowed to be wrong, but they're wrong. You like the Voltron series and say that the prequels have bad writing. Yes, I do. I do say that. And I say that proudly. I do. Um, well, the Voltron series is fun. Like, what's wrong with it? I don't know. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Oh, sorry. I missed. Okay, never mind. Sorry, Supreme. I misread your comment. Um, yeah. Cast fans were, cast fans were definitely mixed. Um, but I was on like I guess I was on more of the like, fuck this status quo, fuck this character. I kind of rage quit. I did rage quit Batgirl after that. Um, Sorry, I just misinterpreted what you were saying. Um, but oh, all right. More comments I picked up this week. I also picked up The Ambassadors by Mark Miller and Frank Whiteley. Mark Miller's just one of those guys that I will kind of read anything that he puts out. I'm a big Mark Miller fan. Like his whole approach is just widescreen Silver Age comics, and yeah, I'm into it. Like I'm supremely into it. Also, just Frank Quietly, you can't go wrong with him. I know some people aren't a big fan of his work, but I like the kind of surreal, hyper detailed kind of work that he puts out, where you can like see all the wrinkles in everyone's faces and everything's kind of heightened and cartoony. I think his work's fantastic. I wonder who did the coloring here. It feels darker than Frank Hartley colored this. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm like really into this book. Like already I'm excited for issue 2, which comes out in like 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, premise is great. I love the writing that Mark Miller has. It's very kind of punchy. You can definitely tell that Mark Miller was a big Stan Lee fan. His writing is very reminiscent of like that like kind of punchy Stan Lee-esque like not cynicism, but like there's a type of humor to it that's like very kind of like, well, shit, man, this is depressing. Hey, what's up, Tevia? Like, I love this whole bit where like the American government, everyone has like like the president in the room and like all these other like top brass military guys, and they're like, oh yeah, so back in the 50s we tried to start this this like Superman project to freak out the Soviets, and then it didn't work and blah blah blah. But now some other billionaire, this private party, figured out how to make superheroes, and everyone in the room was like, oh, this is a good thing, right? And they're like, no, she's not American. Like it's like very obvious, but like it's just so hilarious. I love it. I love it to death. Yeah, this book's fantastic. I'm also kind of like very interested to see like where this character kind of goes. What's her name? It's like Dr. Chun-Hee Sung, or Chun-Hee Sung, who's like this character right here. She's like the South Korean billionaire who starts this whole ambassadors project. Um, so like she's the one who like kind of spearheads this whole like let's give everyone around the world powers who's worthy of having powers. Like she kind of makes herself a conduit for superpowers. It's very fascinating. I mean the pitch that Mark Miller has is accurate. Like he even kind of painstakingly makes it clear in a couple pages here where it's like, so this is Willy Wonka with superpowers. Yeah, all right, bet. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm excited to see more in this universe, and I'm excited to see where the story goes. Arcus says, I'm honestly kind of afraid of my adventures, or afraid for my adventures with Superman, because the main producer is getting her inspiration from the Christopher Reeve version, which is not great news for me, honestly. I mean, I agree. I think we kind of can move past the Christopher Reeve Superman, but it's for me it's two things, right? The first being, I think it's just good PR. If you're gonna make a Superman thing, you say Christopher Reeve. I like Christopher Reeve. Because everyone says that, and then you kind of like read their comics, or you like, watch the thing that they're like creating, and it doesn't look anything like Christopher Reeve Superman. It just looks like regular Superman. Like fucking Zack Snyder brings up how he loves Christopher Reeve movies, and I don't know, you watch those movies and it's like, this is not Christopher Reeve Superman. I mean, it kind of is, but it's kind of like a weird deconstruction of Christopher Reeve Superman in a way. Freaking Philip Kennedy Johnson cites how Christopher Reeve Superman is like what he's always going to for like his sort of reference for the character, but like I don't see Christopher Reeve Superman in Warworld Saga at all, like to any degree. I don't know. I really just think it's good PR to just name drop Christopher Reeve. But also, I could totally see her bringing up that movie in regards to maybe the tone. The title is very much indicating that this story is from Lois Lane's perspective. Like, it's my adventures with Superman. So, it could be that she's talking about how the show is going to be kind of like a romance, in the same way that the Richard Donner Superman movies are a romance. They're a love story between Lois Lane and Superman. So maybe that's what she's talking about. I mean, I hope that's what she's talking about. I really don't want to see more. Hey, would you like to see Superman and Lois do the whole like, you've got me, but who's got you? Oh, we don't need to see that again. We don't need to see Superman sneaking a peek at Lois Lane's pink panties behind a potted plant. We don't need to see any more like you're a diseased maniac, Luthor. Like we are. I like those movies. Like I genuinely like the first two Richard Donner Superman movies. But they don't need to be the end all be all for the character. It's kind of like how I like Batman the Animated Series. I really do not like how that has become the default for the character of Batman in external media. I really like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I like the MCU. I like the MCU take on those characters, or at the very least, the initial take on those characters. but I don't need that to be like the default. Yeah, you feel me? Um, but I'm also just like a comic book like purist and psychopath. Like, I my I'm like tempted to go postal every time I look at Wonder Woman's costume in current continuity, and she's got that retarded she got that like disgusting, grotesque Gal Gadot costume, which I like. I like the Gal Gadot costume, but like I don't need to see it on Wonder Woman as like the main Wonder Woman costume forever. Like I don't know, man. That's just me though. That's just me. But less we need is for Superman to be associated with the '70s front of the decade. Yeah. How do you feel about Ike Perlmutter being fired from Marvel finally? Because for me, I'm so happy that he's finally gone. I mean, cool, I guess. I don't know anything about Ike Perlmutter outside of like the fact that he had like a real push for the Inhumans for that weird period of time, but I don't really know if it's gonna change anything. I'm not sure it will change anything. So I don't know. Until then, I am without an opinion. Um, Toby says personally, I would have loved a Superman family animated show where we're supposed to get a long time ago with oh yeah the Rebirth inspired Superman show. I mean that'd be cool, but like we also like we have that on the CW right now. That's like basically what that TV show is. I also just don't like Dad Superman. Like I can do without Dad Superman. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's just me though. Look, if I gotta put up with Superman being a dad in the comics currently, and we gotta put up with it in live action with the Superman TV show, let me have this show where Superman is like young and hanging out in Metropolis and trying to find his way in the world. I just let me have that one. Just let me have that one. Supreme says, I do prefer Steph as spoiler because when she was Robin, then later Batgirl, fans always compared her to Tim and Cass. Also, Bruce compared her to Tim and Cass, putting her through abusive tests. Well, yeah, that's also like peak Bat Dick era. Not to be confused with Bat Dick, who was Dick Grayson as Batman, but when Batman was a dick. So Bruce Dick. Or no, that sounds like a weird ship. I don't like that. I'm like actively allergic to that. Jesus Christ, that's it's not incest. They're not related, but it's still weird. All right, give me 1 second. Cocaine break. Oh, thank you, Marcus. Ooh, it's strong stuff. I call it pollen because it's awful. Um, Unlike cocaine, pollen gets in my nose and makes me miserable and tired. Um, um, oh no, 70, 70 Superman, the movie romance was the worst part because Lois was insufferable there. Well, true, but that's also just like 1970s Lois in general. Like pre-crisis Lois Lane is like a massive cunt. she's just a bad person, and I've never gotten the appeal of her character outside of Margot Kidder being like very cute. I got it. I don't get the appeal of that character in the film. I don't get the appeal of Lois Lane in the comics. Like, she's not a good love interest. She really sucks. People on Twitter can shit talk John Byrne all they want, but like John Byrne made that character likable. Like Lois Lane is likable in fucking post-crisis continuity. So yeah, but I don't know. I think the idea of like there being a romance is what she's talking about. Or I guess what I hope she's talking about. That is. I'm curious why my Adventures of Superman is going to be on Adult Swim. Probably because there's nowhere to put it on Cartoon Network. They might say a naughty word here or there. I don't know. And thanks for saying bless you. Appreciate it, bro. Versions. Superman is a symbol of hope. Chad's. Superman is the champion of the oppressed. Based and pinned. Pre-crisis Lois Lane was just crazy in my opinion. That's why I love post-crisis Lois Lane, who is way better than her Silver Age version. Based. And also pinned. What? I have to replace the... Oh. That's bullshit. That sucks. Alright, well, spiritually pinned. I'm gonna... What? I can't, like... I can't give you, like a happy little, like... I don't know. I wonder if you could do that on Twitch. What if I start streaming on Twitch? Probably not. That's a bad idea. Why would I go to Twitch? I hear nothing but complaints about Twitch, so I'm just... No, fuck, I'm just gonna stay here. But... Supreme Omega says, on war crimes, you know it's bad when Clue Master called out Bruce's treatment of Steph? Yeah. Pintevia, he deserves it. You know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. There we go. But yeah, no, Supreme, you're like 1,000,000% correct though. Like, that whole like late '90s, 2000s period in Superman is just so weird, and I don't know, not a fan of it. But I've talked about that like on end. Here's the last book that I picked up this week. It is Vanish #5. Now I haven't read this yet. But I am still like insanely in love with the covers by Daniel Warren Johnson. It's like one of my favorite artists working in comics right now. And yeah, man, like I'm a big fan of Donny Cates. I think Donny Cates is a fantastic writer. Even when he's not good, he's still pretty good. So yeah, man, I'm excited to check this book out. I think this is the penultimate issue of Vanish. I'm not sure, but yeah, man. Is that all the books I picked up this week? Yeah, that's all the books I picked up this week. Yeah, pretty good haul. Yeah. Hopefully next week I pick up that Miracle Man omnibus though, because I've been looking forward to that for a while. Arcus says, I'm having a crisis of faith here, Beanie. Maybe I'm wrong. Superman should be boring. I mean, no, he shouldn't be boring. Like, the whole point is that he's like like an adventurous character, but people make him boring, and that sucks. It truly does suck. But that's also the thing we kind of talked about, like at the top of the video or at the top of the stream, where some characters are just kind of they run the not risk, but they wind up becoming too popular, and then they become boring as a result because there's no incentive to tell stories with them anymore. The incentive is maintain the IP and make sure the IP becomes as big as it's destined to be. And Superman has that problem in spades. But yeah, it'd be like that. But yeah, I'm actually gonna call it a night. Honestly, I'm like kind of my brain is dog-eared. I'm also gonna be working on another video this week. Sorry I didn't actually upload anything last week. I was working on a Batman related video, but I just kind of like, I don't know. I kind of like talked myself in circles around the topic. It was gonna be centered around Batman's status as like an urban legend, and how it doesn't actually make sense, and how I've kind of been irritated with that since I was a kid, because like, I don't know, Batman's a founding member of the Justice League. Robin is like a major character in the Teen Titans. Like, everyone knows who Robin is. Batman's also like a famous detective in the DC universe, so like he's the idea of him being an urban legend who no one thinks exists is like it's fucking ludicrous and insane and stupid. But like, I don't know, I couldn't really figure out a way to like stretch that 45-second like paragraphs worth of content into like a 5-minute video. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be doing another video. This time on a character that is not a DC character. Because I feel like I've been doing a lot of DC characters and like a lot of videos on DC characters lately. I want to like switch it up and do a Marvel character. I actually want to switch up and do like another indie character, but those videos just don't tend to perform well. So, but yeah, no. I am gonna do like a Marvel related video coming up soon, and a video game video coming out soon. So make sure to watch out for those guys. And I'm gonna see you. Oh wait, one last one before Arcus. Before I go to bed, Arcus says, "For me, what doesn't make sense is that people find Batman scary, like he's nothing compared to his villains. Criminals should be more afraid of them." True, but Batman also beats up his villains a lot. So it's that thing of like, yeah, Clayface is like a big monster man, but Batman is like beaten this big monster man several times over. I'm more afraid of Batman than I am Clayface. I think it's one of those situations. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. Hey, thank you guys for showing up, and I will see you guys next week. And probably like another video that I drop like either this week or next week. Peace.